All right, guys. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. If you are online, indicate that you are online. We are about to start tonight. We are about to start tonight. If you are active, indicate that you are active. While we wait for others to join. If you are active, indicate that you are active. While we wait for others to join. If you are active, indicate that you are active. If you are active, indicate your presence. If you are active, indicate that you are active. And if you have come online, please share the link to other people to join. Share the link to other people to join if you're online. If you're online, share the link, share the link. Please indicate your presence if you are active. And please share the link to others. We are about to start this class. In a few minutes, we are going to start. In a few minutes, we kick off in a few minutes. We kick off in a few minutes. Please, if you are online, indicate your presence that you're online. Just share the link. Do me a favor and share the link. Share the link. Okay, we are three online. Share the link. Please share the link. If you have shared, just say that I've shared the link. If you have shared the link, just indicate that you have shared the link. If you have shared the link, indicate that you have shared the link. Hmm? Please indicate that you have shared the link. We're about to start. All right. If you're active, indicate. If you have shared the link, indicate. Can we now start now? Okay. This class is starting now. We are just two viewers from what I'm seeing here. Please share the link for those of you who have joined. Just share the link to others for others to join. All right, so this is second semester, and we shall be looking at some courses. Second semester is not same as first semester. In first semester, we talked about courses like mathematics 101, physics 101, chemistry 101, biology 101. Then second semester will be more of 102, like mathematics 102, chemistry 102, physics 102, biology 102. All right. The two they represent second semester. And then the one represents that you are in first year. Okay? Uh-huh. First year, second semester. So this is Mathematics 102. And tonight, we shall be looking at a major important topic in your Math 102, which is what we call conics. Conics. Okay? There are various topics we'll be considering during this semester. Once in a while, I'll be coming online like this to teach. All right. Okay. So the first topic we'll look at is conics. Mathematics don't really need definition, but I want you to understand that conics is grouped into four. Conics is grouped into four. Conics in maths is grouped into four. The first one is called circle. The second is called ellipse. Ellipse. The third is called parabola. The fourth is called hyperbola. Hyperbola. These are the four segments of conics. We'll be looking at each of these in our classes one after the other. So tonight we'll focus on circle. Then, if we're able to finish up circle, we then move into ellipse or ellipses. All right. So please, if you have joined, indicate that you have joined. Excuse me. All right. So let's just continue. I believe others will join later. Right. Okay. Now, the first aspect we shall be considering is called circle. It's called circle. Under conics, it's called circle. Now let's look at circle. The first thing is that what do you understand by the word circle? Definition of circle. Then we then proceed from here. Let's look at the concept called circle. When you hear the word circle, what comes to your mind is a circular object or a spherical object. Circle is not really a spherical object. It's not really a spherical object. What defines a circle is that circle is defined as a locus of a point that are in equal distance from a fixed point called the center. Locus of a point. Circle is defined as locus of a point that moves in a plane. Locus of a point that moves in a plane that are in equal distance from a fixed point called the center. All right. Let me explain what I mean by that definition. If I have my coordinate system, I have my x and y axis. This is y axis. This is what? X axis, right? All right. This is negative x. We all know. This is what? Negative y. We all know, right? This center here is called the midpoint. Here is called the center, right? This point here is called the center of this coordinate system, or we also call it the origin, right? At the origin, the coordinate of x and y are both what? 0. Now let's say from the center to a certain point, let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Okay. If I have here to be 5, and here is 5, and here is 5, and here is 5. By the time we link all of these points together, 5 units together, 5 units, we're going to generate all called what? A circle. Right there. Now, what defines a circle is that circle is found at the locus of a point. The locus means all of these points you are seeing here, that the locus of a point that moves in a plane. That moves in a plane. And this locus are what? And equal distance rather. They are equal distance from a fixed point called what? The center. I repeat again. Circle is defined as the locus of a point that are at equal distance from a fixed point called what? The center. Meaning, from this point here, this is my locus 1, P1, which can be called S1, what? Y1. This is my locus 2, which is what? S2, what? Y2. This can be called locus 3, P3, which is S3, Y3. This can be called what? P4, which is S4, what? Y4. Now, what we are saying is that every point from this locus to the center are what? Are equal. So if I'm to pick other points here, they are also equal. If I'm to pick other points here, they are also equal. If from here to here is 5, here is 5, here is 5, that means every other point is also 5 units. Is also 5 units. Also 5 units. Also what? 5 units. Now, what defines a circle, like I say, geometrically, is that it is the locus of a point, okay, in a plane that are in equal distance from a fixed point called the center. Meaning, all these locus that moves around this plane or this circle are what? In equal distance from the center. They are equal distance. So here is 5, 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 here is 5. Okay. What if I have something of this nature? Let's say I have my coordinate system. Okay, let's say if here is 4 and here is 4, and we have here to be 6 and here is 6, and we connect all these points together. What do you notice here? I will form a circle. This is not a circle because all the points from each of these locus are not in equal distance from each other, right? From here, from the center to this point is 6 units. From here to this point is 6 units. From the center to this point is 4 units. Yes, but what we call is what? An ellipse. This is called an ellipse. Now, how do we define an ellipse? Ellipse, we say conics is grouped into 4. The first one is called what? Circle, right? Second is called ellipse. Third is called what? Parabola. Fourth, we have hyperbola. Now, an ellipse is simply a stretched version of a circle, meaning when you stretch a circle either along the y-axis or along the x-axis, it forms what? An ellipse or an elliptical orbit. This ellipse can also be stretched along the x-axis, meaning that from here to here, let's say from the center point to this point is 6, this is what? 6, and let's say here is what? 4, and here is 4. What do you notice here? The ellipse is being stretched along the x-axis. Okay? The longest side in an ellipse is called the major axis. The major axis. Major axis. The shorter side, which is from here, is called the minor axis. Minor axis. Now, but in a circle, we don't have major axis. We don't have what? Minor axis. The reason because all the points from each of these locus to the center are what? In equal distance with each other. Alright? That's what defines a circle. So let's take it one after the other. Like I said, my aim in today's class is to talk on circle, is to discuss on circle. Then we'll look at equations that guides circle. Then also solve some problems and some past questions regarding circle. Alright, every year in Imo State University exam, you must always encounter circle. They always give you a question concerning circle. That's why we are starting with this. Although the order of arrangement is still this, from circle to ellipse, then from ellipse to parabola, then down to what? Hyperbola. All of this, we'll tackle them, if possible, throughout this week. But today, we'll try and conclude on circle, then we'll move into some other thing. Now we now understand what a circle is. We have a proper understanding of what a circle is. Circle is not just a spherical object, all right? Circle, by definition, is that it is the locus of a point. Locus is Locus. Locus of a point, okay, in a plane that are all in equal distance from a fixed point called what? The center. And you have to take note that the center of a circle is represented as C, which is what? H comma what? K. The center of a circle is represented as what? C, which is H comma what? K. H corresponds to the x-axis, while K corresponds to what? The y-axis. Now let's look at, we have seen the definition of a circle. The next is for us to look at the equation of a circle. The equation of a circle. The equation of a circle. Okay. The equation of a circle. Before we look at the equation of a circle, I want us to look at the geometric definition of a circle. Geometry definition of a circle. Then that will launch us into what we call the equation of a circle. Now we now understand better that what defines a circle, don't mind the shape, it's not a perfect shape, is that every point from the locus are actually in equal distance with each other, right? With each other. Okay. So if I have a circle of this kind, okay, and we are saying that the center is represented as what? H comma what? K. All right. Let me choose the locus point here. Let's assume that this is our locus point, which represents P, S comma what? Y. We say this locus can either be here or at any point in the plane, right? Okay, it moves around the plane and is in equal distance, okay, from the center, right? From the fixed point called the center. So I'm choosing a point here as my locus, all right? So if I have my locus here and I have my center here, there's a line that connects the locus with the center, which is called the radius, right? If we have a circle, half of a circle is called what? The diameter, right? The diameter, all right? Half of a diameter is called what? It's called radius. It's called radius. That means that if this is the center, this point here to this point can also be called what? The radius, right? Because if here from this point to this point is R, from this point to this point is also what? R. That means that from this point down to this point can also be represented as what? As R. So R represents the radius of this circle, right? Which is same as the distance. The distance separating the center from the wall, the locus, the distance, or we can call it the radius of a circle. Now, the next thing we need to do is to use what we call distance formula or the Pythagoras formula to find the value of this radius, of this distance between these 2 points. The first point we have here is the center, right? Second point we have here is what? Is the locus. So I can determine the distance between these 2 points using what we call Pythagoras identity. All right. Okay. Now what do we do is that I have to complete this by generating a right angle what triangle. Now there's a formula called distance formula. Distance between 2 points. If I have 2 points such as S1, comma Y1 and S2, comma what Y2. The distance between these 2 points is given as square root of S2 minus what S1 all what all squared plus Y2 minus what Y1 all squared, right? Now in mathematics, let me use small letter D. In mathematics, if I'm to take off these square roots, what do we do is to square root both sides, right? Is to square both sides rather. That will give us what here? This square equals square will then cancel square root, right? That will give us S2 minus what? S1 all what? All squared plus Y2 minus what? Y1 all what? All squared. Okay. This is called distance formula. You can either use this or the concept here is gotten from the Pythagoras identity or Pythagoras theorem, right? That says that the square of the hypotenuse equals to the sum of the square of the adjacent and what the opposite. Is that clear? All right. So for this, I have 2 points here. I have point C and point what? Point P. So the first thing we need to do is to find. Let me put my C here. Let me just take up this. Our C is H comma K, right? The first thing we need to do, okay, is to find the coordinate of the x-axis here, which is x minus h. S minus h. This is more like my S2 minus what h. To find the x-axis, I have to subtract this with this. Here becomes x minus what h. To find the y-axis, what will it be then? Y minus what k, just like we did here between these 2 points. This is just like saying the center and what the locus, right? So we have S2 minus what S1. Here is what Y2 minus what Y1. Then when you now use your Pythagoras theorem, that will give us this, right? Good. So for here we're going to have here to be Y minus what? Yeah. Okay, sorry. Now let's go on. Now, using the distance formula, we have only seen, or since we form a right angle triangle, right, we can adopt the distance formula rather, or using Pythagoras theorem to find the hypotenuse, the radius. So, using distance formula, distance between 2 points formula, that will give us what here? R squared equals to x minus h all squared plus y minus k all what? All squared. Or we use the principle of Pythagoras theorem, maybe. Okay. I can rewrite this as x minus h all squared plus what? Y minus k all squared all equals to what? R squared. I can also decide to divide 2 by r squared. When you divide 2 by r squared, that will give us when you divide 2 by r squared, that will give us x minus h all squared divided by r squared plus y minus k all squared divided by what? R squared equals to R squared over what? R squared. We divided through by what? R squared. Then from here, R squared can cancel R squared. We are left with S minus H all squared over what? R squared plus Y minus K all squared over what? R squared equals to what? 1. So we call this is the first equation, equation 1. This is the second equation, equation 2. This is the first one, okay? This is the second one. So we call this equation 1 and equation 2. They are called standard equation of a circle. The standard equation of a circle. This is called the standard equation of a circle. Standard equation of a circle, where R will represent the radius of the circle, right? Okay. Now, every circle has what we call center. There are 3 things that makes up a circle. Is that the center, the radius, and the locus. Is that clear? So the center of this circle, is always given as what? H comma what? Okay, take notes. For the standard form, the center is given as what? H comma what? H comma K. That is the standard, is the center. Then there's something I want to show us before going into this derivation, is what we call the geometry definition of a circle. The geometry definition simply says that, if you look at this, we are saying that from this center to the locus equals to what? R. At every point here, even if I have another point here, okay, and I have another locus here, it means that CP is equals to what? R. But this is equal radius. So in a circle, we have equal radius that surrounds what? The circle. So the geometry definition of a circle is simply geometry definition is simply given as CP equals to what? R. Is given as CP equals to what? R. CP equals to R. Either CP equals to R. This is called the geometry definition of a circle. Alright, so this is the first part of circle. Let's move forward to something else. Then we'll solve some problems. Then how we end this class. Alright, okay. And how we end this class. The next thing I want us to look at in this class is what we call the general equation of a circle. General equation of a circle. Of a circle. General equation of a circle. The general form of a circle, or general form, not equation, general form of a circle is given as general form of a circle. General form of a circle is given as s squared plus y squared plus 2gs plus 2fy plus c equals to 0. Every circle has a general form. Every circle has a general form. And the general form is given as s squared plus y squared plus 2gs plus 2fy plus c equals to 0. This is called the general form of a circle. Alright, I hope you guys are following. Please, if you are following, indicate that you are following. Indicate that you are following. If you are following, indicate that you are following. Okay, so now we have seen the general form of a circle. In this general form, we have what we call the radius. How do we determine the radius of a circle for the general form? Okay, the radius is given as r equals square root of g squared plus g squared plus f squared, sorry, g squared plus f squared minus c. G squared plus f squared minus what c. This is how to find the radius of a circle of this circle in the general form. Then the center remains h comma k. But in this case here, h comma k is equivalent to minus g comma minus what f. Please take note. The radius of a circle in the general form is given as square root of g squared plus f squared minus c. All right. Okay. The center is h comma k, which is same as minus g comma what minus f. Now the next is to look at what we call the characteristics of a circle. I will just give three characteristics of a circle. What are the features of a circle? Okay, from the general form. The general form we have is you say s squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equals to 0. The first that defines a circle is that the coefficient of x squared and y squared must be the same. The coefficient of x squared and what? Y squared must be the same. Must be the same. The coefficient of x squared and y squared must be the same. Number two is that some texts we also mention that the coefficient of x squared and y squared must be equal to 1. Some will say must be equal or is equal to 1. From what we saw here, coefficient of x squared and y squared is 1. That's also a characteristic. But the right way to put it is that they must be the same because the value here might be 4. Likewise, a 4. So if I have coefficient of x squared and y squared to be 4. At this point, we can say they are equals to 1, although they are the same. So if I have 4, it means that it is a circle. If I have 5, it means that it is a circle. If the quotient of x squared is 5 and that of y squared is 3, it's no longer a circle because they have different coefficients. It's now called an ellipse. Right there. It's called an ellipse. Okay. Ellipse and circle, they have similarity because ellipse is being derived from a circle. Like I said, I give us an example that an ellipse is a stretched version of a circle. That when you stretch a circle, either along the x-axis or along the y-axis, okay, it forms what? An ellipse. So that means that there should be some similarities between an ellipse and a circle. So both of them have similar general form, but just that in an ellipse, the coefficient of x squared and y squared are not the same because the distance from the locus to the center are not equal. So they have different coefficients. Right there. Okay. So that is the first one. I've mentioned the second one, which is mostly said by some textbook that it must be equals to 1. Now the third one is that there is no term, there is no 10 such as xy. There's nothing like xy. Look at this equation. We have only x squared, y squared, 2gs, 2fy. This g can be 5. If g is 5, that means the old value here becomes what? 5 times 2, which is what? 10x. Abi? Let's say if f is 3, the old value becomes what? 6y. Because 3 times 2 times y is what? 6y. So there's nothing like sy. Whenever you see a function that has sy, even though the coefficient of x squared and y squared are the same, and there's sy function, that means it's no longer what? A circle, because in a circle, one of the characteristics says there is no term as sy. Number 4 is that the radius of the circle, the value must be greater than what? Or be greater than 0. That is one of the ways to get it. While solving, I will show us some calculations. They will be asked to prove if this is a circle or not. One of the proof is that your radius should be greater than what? 0. Okay? If your radius is less than 0, meaning that the less than 0 means negative. We can have a negative radius in a circle. Do you get? So let's just move on. All right? Let's solve some problems. The first question I want us to look at tonight is, okay, before we go into that, let me show us something that might really interest us. Might likely interest us is that a circle can be positioned in a plane in two ways. It's either the circle is positioned at the center or away from the center. Circle can be positioned. The position of a circle, positioning now. If I have a Cartesian diagram or a plane, all right, and I have another one again, my circle can either be at the center, right, like I explained, where the distance from this point to this point to this point to this point are all the same, right? I can also have, in this diagram, our center remains what? H, what? K, right? I can also form a circle here, away from the center. What do you notice here? This circle is not lying at the origin. It's somewhere at the center, away from the center, right? Somewhere in the plane, but away from the origin. But the center is still here, H, what? K. So we can actually have two positions of a circle in the plane. We can have a circle at the origin, at the what? Origin, and also have a circle away from the origin. Away from the origin. It must not necessarily be here. It can even be here, somewhere here, or somewhere here, or somewhere here. As long as it's not lying at the center, it is away from the origin. All right. Then a circle at the origin simply means that the center is at the origin. Okay. Now let's solve a problem here. Then I will differentiate between these two positions of a circle. Let's solve the first example. Says find the equation of a circle whose center is at the origin with radius 4 units. Whose center is at the origin and having a radius of what? 4 units. With radius of 4 units. Radius of 4. solution to this is very simple. Now listen, we say that we have two positions of a circle. You can either have a circle at the origin or away from the origin. We are told that we have to find the equation of a circle. The center is at the origin. The first is to define what the center is. Our center, we are told, center is always what? H comma what? K. Don't forget. But we are told that it is at the origin. That means the coordinate of the center is simply 0 comma what? 0. Meaning that this circle is somewhere at the center, right? Whose center is at the origin? Is somewhere at the origin. Where the center at the origin means that the center is 0 comma what? 0. But don't forget this 0 here represents H. It represents what? K. So if the center is at the origin, that means that the value of both H and K represents 0 comma 0. We are also told that our radius R is equals to what? 4. Then what we do here is to recall that standard equation, right? Standard equation of a circle is what? Is x minus h all squared plus y minus k all squared equals to what? R squared. Yeah, the value of h is 0. The value of k is what? 0. Since the center is at the origin, mean h is 0, k is what? 0. So I'm going to replace my h with 0 here. Here becomes x minus 0 all squared plus what? Y minus what? 0 all squared equals to what? The value of r is 4. So we have 4 squared. X minus 0 is what? X. So we have what? So to be x squared plus what? Y squared. Y minus 0 is y. So y squared, right? Equals to 4 squared means 4 times 4, which is what? 16. And that will give us what here? 16. So this is the final answer here. Very simple. We say that I gave you guys two standard equations of a circle. The first one is this, right? The second one is when you divide through by what? By r squared. So I can either stop here or I can divide through by what? By 16. So by the time we divide through by 16, what will be the final answer? Divide through by 16. That will give us x squared over 16 plus y squared over what? 16 equals to 16 over what? 16. Therefore, final answer becomes we have x squared over 16 plus y squared over what? 16 equals to what? 1. So the first answer is either this or this. Alright? Therefore, the equation becomes what? X squared plus y squared equals to 16 or x squared over what? 16 plus y squared over what? 16 all equals to what? 1. Final answer for this. This is one of the most simplest questions you can ever encounter in a circle. Okay, now let's finish up. Next question, we are moving forward. Moving forward. Okay, the next question says, from giving give an equation for the circle with center. Give an equation. Give an equation for the circle with center 5 comma minus 2 and radius 2 and radius 2. We have to give equation for the circle with center 5 comma minus 2 and radius. Okay, solution to this. Let's look at here. We are giving our center. If I have something, let's say I have my Cartesian diagram. The center here, our x is 5. Y is what? Y is minus 2, right? Okay, this is my x. Let me use one of these lines to represent y units. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my x. Then our y is what? 1, 2. That means that the center of this circle will be somewhere here, right? Somewhere here. My center is here. Exactly. The center is somewhere here. Okay. All right. So the next thing is for us to construct is a, what's it called? Okay. If the center is somewhere here, this is the coordinates, right? That forms the center. Okay. Now from here we can generate our points here. From this point here to this point, we can generate a circle, right? Okay, that surrounds it. If we have a center, but we are not really looking for this, is just a rough sketch. You can see that this circle here is actually away from the origin. It's not somewhere here. Okay, then let's find the equation of this circle. Let's find the equation of this circle. The equation of this circle. All right. Okay. So what we do is that we have to bring out our center. Our center is actually 5 comma minus 2. Then our radius is what? Is 2. Then recall that x minus h, this the standard form of a circle is what? X minus h all squared plus y minus k all squared all equals to what here? R squared. And that will give us here. Look at this. If our center is 5 comma minus 2, that implies that h is 5, yk is what? Minus 2. And that will give us, let's go, x minus, the value of h is 5, all squared, plus y minus k is minus 2. So all squared, all equals to the value of r is 2, so 2 squared. So this will give us x minus 5, all squared, plus y plus 2, all squared, all equals to what? 4. So this is the first answer. All right. If we have to represent our answer in the general form, then there will be need for us to expand. For those of you who are in Imo State University, you just have to leave your answer in this form. All right. Then from here, we can also divide through by what? By 4. And that will give us, I can also say or s minus 5 all squared over 4 plus y plus 2 all squared over 4 equals to what? 1. By the time we divide 4 by 4, the result will be 1. So there's no need of expanding, except we are being given an instruction to represent the final answer in the general form. The general form we know is what? Is x squared plus what? Y squared plus 2gs plus 2fy plus c equals to 0. So if we also expand or represent our answer in this form, we need to just expand this, bring the x squared and the y squared together, then bring the s together, bring the y together, then your constant. That is just all. But basically, this is where you should stop for those of you who are in Imo State University. There's something I would like to show us. I will have done that before, but it's not really needed. Is that if we are given a question like this and we are asked to construct maybe the circle, like I have to bring out what first? The coordinates system, right? So let's look at what we can do here. In the coordinate system, here we have, this is our origin, 0, 0. That means here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? The first thing we need to do is to generate the center. I've already bring out my 5 units because we are told that the center is 5, 1, minus 2. Then the y-axis there is minus 2, so minus 1, minus 2. So by the time we link up this together, right, that will give us what here? Our center. This is the coordinate of the center, which is 5, minus 2. Exactly. Okay, let me just take it off. Just take note. This point represents 5, what? Minus 2. The next is to look at a circle. We are told that the radius is 2. And we say that what defines a circle is that from the center, right, to this is called radius, right? To this is called radius, right? To this is called radius. To this is what? Radius. From the center to each of the locus is represented as what? Radius. They have equal lengths. So from here, since our radius is 2, it means that I will extend further with 2 units, right? I will extend further with 2 units. Okay. So here I'm going to have what here? A point here and that point. Let me just asterisk this point. It means that for my center, I will generate 2 units because we are told that the radius is 2 units. 2 units away, meaning here becomes 1, 2. I've done for this side, right? I'll also go down again 2 units because from the center, I've done this, which is 2 units. Let's move down now. Let's generate 2 units downward. Let's go. That will give us 1, 2. So let's go. We have 1, 2 should be somewhere here. Let me just asterisk here as well. All right. Now the next is to move 2 units upward. 2 units upward. This is where my center is. By the time I move upward 2 units, let's count 1, 2. So it is somewhere on this line. Let me use asterisk. The next is to generate 2 units this way, which is, I will start from here. We have 1, 2, which is somewhere here. So what do we do now to form the circle is by linking all these points together. When you link it together, what do you form here? A circle. Now what do you notice here? This circle is away from the what? Origin. Is away from the origin. So in case you are asked to construct, okay, or just give a rough sketch of a rough sketch. This is just a rough sketch, okay? You can use to represent this question. Now let's solve another problem. Now, another question says that we should find the equation of a circle which has its center at, find the equation of a circle which has its center at -1, 6 and passes through the point the point 2, 3 and passes through the point 2, 3. Now let's solve this equation. Listen, we have to find the equation of a circle which has its center. We are told that the center, which is our h, k, is given as -1, 6. By now you know better, right? That this h here corresponds to -1, yk corresponds to what? So 6. The points here represent the locus, which is our s, y, which is equals to 2, 3. You know, we define a circle as locus of a point. And if I have a center here, we have a locus here. This is our locus P, s, y. That geometrically, a circle is defined as what? From this center to the locus, which is our CP, is equals to what? Radius, right? So we are told, we are given the center value, the center. This is our center. We are given the coordinate of the center and the coordinate of the locus. So the center is -1, 6. The locus is what? 2, 3. And we have to find the equation of a circle, of this circle. Now what do we do first is that, don't forget that solution, that the equation of a circle we know is what? X minus h, standard equation of a circle, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals to what? R squared. The standard equation of a circle is given as this. Now, the first thing we need to do in this equation, we don't have radius. The first we need to do is to find our radius. In the previous example I gave, we are given the center and the radius, so it was a kind of easy for us to find the equation. But for this, we are only given the center and the point, which is called the locus, and we are asked to find the equation of a circle. So for we to do that, we have to look for our radius. Now we are given our x as what? 2, y as what? As 3. For this, our s is 2, our y is what? Is 3. For this, our h is -1, right? Our k is what? 6. So what we do to find the value of radius is by substituting the value of x as 2, h as -1, y as what? 3, k as what? 6. Now let's go to find radius, and that will give us okay, to find radius, to find r, we have x is 2 minus h is -1. So 2 minus -1 all squared plus the value of y is 3 minus our k is 6, all equals to what? R squared. So minus times minus will give us plus. So this becomes 2 plus 1 to the power of 3, to the power of 2 rather, plus 3 minus 6 is -3 to the power of 2. Okay, this there should be squared here. All equals to what here? R squared. Okay. So here we have 2 plus 1 is 3. So 3 squared is 9 plus minus 3 squared is also 9 minus 3 all squared is same as minus 3 times minus 3. Minus times minus is plus. 3 times 3 is 9. So minus 3 all squared is plus 9. So here we have 9 plus 9, which is equals to what? R squared. And that will give us 18 equals to what? R squared. So find the value of R, that will give us R equals to what? Root 18. Right? Okay. With 18. With 18. Which is about 3 root 2. Which is about 3 sod what? Sod 2. 3 sod 2. Alright, so the next thing is for us to find the equation of the circle, right? To find the equation of the circle, please, if you are following, indicate that you are following. Now, to find the equation of the circle, we will now use this, because the equation of the circle means that at the end of the day, your answer must be in what? In x and y. Alright? So what we do is to just substitute only value of h and what? And k. Alright? Already we know the value of r squared. That r squared is equals to what? 18. Right? Yeah. R squared is equals to what? 18. Now let's go. Equation becomes x minus our age is minus 1 all squared plus y minus our k is 6 all equals to r squared. That will give us what? 18. So that will give us x plus 1 all squared plus y minus, sorry, squared here, minus 6 all squared all equals to what? 18. Final answer. Or we can decide to divide 2 by what? By 18. That will then give us x plus 1 all squared divided by 18 plus y minus 6 all squared divided by what? 18 all equals to what? 1. Equals to 1. Alright. From this standard form, we can also determine our center. If we are given this in the exam, this equation, and we have to find the center and the radius, what do? We just compare. I'll compare this with this. When compare with this, minus h equals to what? 1. That means my h is what? Minus 1. Minus k is equals to what? Minus 6. It means my k equals to what? 6. Right? So that means that my center, if I'm to find center from here, since the sign here is plus, the simple way to memorize it is this. Since the sign here is plus, I will change it to what? Minus. Here becomes what? Minus 1. Since the sign here is minus 6, I'll make it what? Plus. Here will be what? Plus. This is how to find the center. Or you can just compare. When you compare minus h equals to what? 1. Right? So that means my h becomes what? Minus 1. Then when you compare, by comparison, what I mean by comparison? So you don't get confused, please. So what I mean by comparison, minus h is equals to what? 1. Right? To find the value of h, I will divide both by minus 1, minus 1. That means that h equals to what? Minus 1. Also, if I'm to find the value of k, I'll compare minus k with what? Minus 6. Minus k equals to what? Minus 6. So this can go, right? So k is what? K is 6. Then h is what? Minus 1. So then my center becomes, which is h comma what? K, which is equals to what? Our h is minus 1 comma what? Comma 6. But I'm saying that the easiest way to bring out the center without going through this process of comparison is to just look at this sign here. Since x corresponds to h, y corresponds to what? K. I will just change this sign to minus. It becomes minus 1. Since this sign is minus, I'll turn it to what? To plus. It becomes what? Plus 6. Then when you compare to find your radius now, to find your radius, we are just assuming that we are given this in the exam, and we have to find the radius. What do? You compare your r squared with what? With 18. When you compare r squared, r squared equals to what? 18. To find r, I will find the square root. R squared sub 3, right? Sorry, which is same as, of course, 2 times 9, which is same as 3 sub 2. 3 sub what? Sub 2. Alright, so these are the simple tricks that we use to find center and what? And radius when the equation is given in the standard form. This is called the standard form of the equation. Let's solve one more example. Then we'll go into something else entirely. Alright, one more example. Please, if you are following, indicate that you are following in the comment section. If you are following, indicate that you are following. One more example. Sorry, just excuse me a little. Let me get the question. Okay, look at this question here. We are given this question. Looking at conics. We are given a question here that find the center and radius of this of the circle, which is x minus 3 all squared plus y plus 4 all squared equals to 36. Equals to 36. Alright, so let's solve this question. Let's solve this problem together and see. Now we are given that find the center and radius of the circle x minus 3 squared plus y plus 4 squared equals 36. Now, like I said before, to solve this, to find the center is very simple. Like I said, just bring out the standard form of this. Recall that recall the standard form of a circle is s minus h all squared plus y minus k all squared equals to what? R squared. The standard form is given as this. This is called the standard form of a circle, right? Standard form of a circle. Now what we do is to compare this with this. By comparison, compare. When you compare this, it means minus h is equals to what? Minus 3. Meaning this equals to this, right? Huh. So when minus h equals minus 3, minus can go with minus. That means that the value of h is what? Is 3. I'll compare minus k to be equals to what? 4. When you compare that, it means that our k is equals to what? Minus 4. Therefore, our center is, which is h comma k, becomes what? Our h is what? Is 3 comma what? Minus 4. You know, I say this to avoid this stress. Just come to this point here. S corresponds to h, y corresponds to what? K. The value here is minus 3. Just convert it to plus. That gives us plus 3. The value here is what? Minus is plus 4. What do you do? Convert it to what? Minus. That gives us what? Minus 4. That is just how to find the center. All of this is just to prove that the center corresponds with what I just mentioned. Alright? Now the next is to find the radius. Radius R. To find the radius R, what do we do? I will still compare the standard form here with this. Alright? Meaning that R squared is equals to what? 36. To find the value of R, we have to square root both sides, meaning R equals to what? Root of what? 36, right? And that will give us R equals to what? 6. Our radius here is 6. Radius here is what? Is 6. Alright, so for those of you who just joined us, you are welcome. Please ensure that you go through the class. Now there's a second part. The last part of this is what we are about to enter. Then in my other class, I will then give more examples, okay? Alright guys, so let's continue. If you are here, you know you have not shared this link. Please share the group link now. Share this link rather to your various departmental WhatsApp group. Please share it. Just share. It won't take anything to share. Make sure you like this video. Once you join us, like the video, like and share and comment. Ask questions. Let's make this class interactive, please. Share the link, like the video. I want to see more likes, please, okay? Don't just watch, and if you really appreciate what we are doing tonight, just like the video, share it to your groups. Let your classmates join. Alright? Let them join. Okay, so let's look at a good example from past question. A good example from past question. Let me get the question. Okay, we're going to solve a problem here. Question say find the center and radius of the circle given by the equation, given by the equation, which is x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 8y plus 9 equals to what? 0. Plus 9 equals to 0. Now, look at this question. Let's look at this together. We have to find the center and, find the center and what? Find the center Please, who is replying? I'm going to come back to, if you have any question, you can drop your question. Okay. All right, so let's finish up. Look at this question. We have to find the center and radius of the circle given by the equation. The equation here is x squared plus y squared minus 6s plus 8y plus 9 equals to 0. Plus 9 equals to 0. Now look at this. We are giving this in the general form. This was given in the general form, and we have to find the center and radius. You know, I gave us a formula, right? That to find radius is what? Square root of what? Of g squared plus f squared minus c. And the center of the circle, which is h comma k, is what? Is minus g comma minus f, right? But I'm going to solve it with a method called completing the square method. We have two methods used in solving a equation like this. We can actually resolve this question by using these formulas to solve. Okay, then we can also use what we call the principle of what? Completing the square. Completing the square. Completing the square. All right. Now, but you have to take note that the general form of a circle, like we mentioned, is what? It's x squared plus what? Y squared plus what? 2gs plus what? 2fy plus c. All equals to what? Yeah, 0. The general form of a circle is given as x squared plus y squared plus 2gs plus 2fy plus c equals to 0. All right, so by looking at this now, we're going to use the method solution. We're going to use completing the square method to solve this. This is the most accepted method, okay, in IMSU, Imo State University, and in most schools. All right, this method is more like a shortcut, but please master this method. And I will solve with this, also solve with this, then we can see the difference. All right, but please in your exam use the principle of completing the square method. Now, what we do here is to group. I have to group. Group means I'll bring the s together and the y together. I'll bring this together and the y together. All right. Any term that has y, I'll bring them together. Any term that has what? X, I'll bring them together. Do you get the concept? I'm not collecting like terms. They are not really like terms. because the coefficient of the power here is squared. Here is 1, so they're not like terms. I'm just bringing the terms that has x together and the terms that has what? Y together. Then the term that have neither x or y will be taken to the other side of the equation, meaning I will transfer my 9 across this side. It becomes minus 9. Now let's watch. So that will give us what here? We'll have s squared plus what? Sorry, s squared minus what? Minus 6x plus y squared plus what? 8y. It all equals to what? Minus 9. Right? What happened here is that we brought this together. S squared minus what? 6x, right? Then y squared plus what? 8y equals to what? Minus 9. When you move your plus 9 across this side, it becomes minus what? Minus 9. Now, the next is to convert this to what we call trinomial. I will convert these two terms here to trinomial. Alright? To trinomial. Alright? Convert this to what? To trinomial, meaning I'm completing the square. Okay, but the first thing, how do we complete the square? Completing the square. Completing the what? The square. When we complete the square means I'm going to look for half the coefficient of what? Of x and that of what? Of y. Square them and add to both sides of the equation. I repeat again. I will look out for half the coefficient of x. Square it, add to both sides. Also look out for half the coefficient of what? Of y. Square it and add to both sides. The coefficient of x is what? Minus 6. Coefficient of y is what? Is 8. Now look at what I'm saying here. Here becomes what? S squared minus 6x, right? Minus, plus rather, in bracket, minus 6 over what? 2, all what? Squared. I repeated this here. Then I have to look for half the coefficient of x, which is this, right? And square it. Are you seeing what I'm doing here? So I'm done with this. This means trinomial, meaning I'm converting these two terms here to trinomial. Alright? So let's go. So the next is, I'll do the same thing here. That'll give us plus y squared plus what? 8y plus, in bracket, right? That'll give us 8 over what? 2, all what? Squared. All squared. All squared equals to, already we have minus 9 here. We're going to have minus 9. Now, what we added here is minus 6 over 2 squared. What we added here is what? 8 over what? 2 squared. The principle says that anything we are adding on this side must be added to the other side. So we look at this. It means I'm going to add plus minus 6 over what? 2 all squared plus, also add 8 over 2 all what? All squared. Now the next thing is to convert this trinomial into what we call perfect square binomial. Into what we call perfect square what? Binomial. Perfect square binomial. What I mean by that is that perfect square binomial. What I mean by that is that, when you divide minus 6 by 2, that will give us what? Minus 3. When you divide 8 by 2, that will give us what? 4. So to convert these three terms now to perfect squared binomial, what do we do? I will pick this x here. Here we have x. When you divide 6 by minus 2, we have what here? Minus 3. I'm going to have minus 3. Then I will square it. Do you get the concept here? If this sign here, if for instance, if here is plus, that means here will be what? 6 over 2. So what do we do? When divide 6 by 2, I will have what? Plus 3. I will have used plus here if the sign is plus. But because the sign here is minus, the sign here is minus, I'm going to consider this particular sign, and that will give us x minus 3 all squared plus. Now tell me, what do you think will be? If I'm to convert this to perfect square binomial, what sign will be here? Plus. So here becomes what? Y plus what? Plus 4 all to the power of what? 2 equals to minus 9 plus minus 3 divided by 2 is minus 6 divided by 2 is what? Minus 3. Minus 3 all squared give us what here? 9. So the value here is what? Plus 9, right? 8 divided by 2 is what? Is 4. 4 squared is what? Is 16. So that means here becomes s minus 3 to the power of 2 plus what? Y plus 4 to the power of 2 all equals to what? Minus 9 plus 9 is 0. Plus 0 plus 16 is what? It's 16. Now what do you notice here? We have been able to generate the equation of a circle, right? I can either stop here or say x minus 3 all squared divided by what? 16 plus y plus 4 all squared divided by what? 16 equals to divide 16 by 16. That will give us what? 1. Either of these two is the equation of the circle. But we are not asked to find just the equation. We are asked to find the center and the what? The radius. But before you find the center and the radius, what do? Is to convert this general form into a standard form. You know, we have the general form and the standard form. The standard form is this, right? Either this or this. Are you there? The standard form I give us, we have x minus h all squared plus y minus k all squared equals to what? R squared. If I should divide 2 by r squared, that will give me the second equation for standard form. And the general form is this, which is x squared plus what? Y squared plus 2gs plus 2fy. Don't forget 2fy plus c equals to 0. If you look at this equation, this is in the form of the general form. I have x squared, I have x squared. Okay? Minus 6s represents what? 2gs. 2fy represents what? 8y. Then c represents what? 9. So once you are given a problem like this in the exam, the first thing you need to do is to convert this general form into a standard form. It is from this standard form I can be able to compare. When you now compare this now, your age is what? 3, Abi? Your k is what? Minus 4. When you now compare this, I can get my center. From here, r squared is equal to what? 16. I mean, the value of r becomes what? 4. Are you seeing it now? But let's solve together. What do we do now? Let's solve together. What do we do? Once we get to this point, I will just say again, I'll come back and say recall that x minus h, the standard form, all squared plus what? Y minus k all squared is equals to what? R squared. Therefore, by comparison, by the time we compare, I'm comparing this equation with this because they are alike. Are you there? They are alike. So that means that minus h is equals to minus 3. Minus cancel minus. Therefore, h is equals to 3. right? Also, let's go again. Minus k is equals to 4. That means that our k is equals to what? Minus 4. Are you guys seeing it now? Therefore, our center, which is our h, comma, k, is equals to, our h is 3, comma, our k is minus 4. Like I said before, from here, I can tell what the center is. I will change this sign to what? To plus. I will change this sign to what? To minus. Exactly. Then for the radius of the circle, what do we do? I will compare 16 with what? With r squared. I'm going to say that r squared is equals to what? 16. What do we do to find the value of our radius, or r rather? I have to square root both sides, meaning square root of r squared equals to square root of what? 16. Square cancel square root. Therefore, radius is what? Is 4. Final answer. Radius is 4. Very simple. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. Okay, let's see one more example. Okay, the next thing I want us to look at is how we can use the formula, right, to determine the equation. Let's see how we can use the formula to determine the equation of a circle. Exactly. Let me get a question. Okay. Now, we are given, right, from what we just saw, x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 8y plus 9 equals to 0, right? Okay. We also find the center and find the radius, right? Find the center and the radius of the circle. Now, we have seen the first method, which is by completing the square, right? And I want to believe that we all understand that first method. Second approach or second method is that the second method is that I have to recall first that the general form is x squared plus y squared plus 2gs plus 2fy plus c equals to 0. When you recall this, I will then compare this with this. By comparison, x squared is same as x squared, y squared is same as y squared. 2gs is equals to what? Minus 6x. 2gx is what? Minus 6x. S can cancel s from here. We are left with 2g equals to minus 6. That implies that our g is equals to minus 6 over 2. I can divide both sides by 2, right? That will give me minus 6 over 2. And that will give us minus what? Minus 3. Exactly. Then I also compare 2fy with what? 8y. 2fy with what? 8y. Y cancel y from here. We are left with 2f equals to 8. To solve for f, what do we do? Divide both sides by 1 by 2. Coefficient of f, that will give us f equals to what? 8 over 2, which is what? 4 units. Which is 4 units. Alright, so f is 4. Then when you compare also, c is equals to 9. C is equals to what? 9. Now we have been able to see that the value of our G is 3, the value of our F is 4, the value of our C is what? Is 9. Then from the formula I gave, the radius is what? Square root of. Let's find the radius first before we find the center. Radius is given as G squared plus F squared minus C. That will give us radius equals square root of. The value of our G is minus 3. So minus 3 all squared plus the value of our F is 4. 4 all squared minus C is 9. That is 9. Now give us radius equals to square root of minus 3 squared is minus 3 times minus 3. And that will give us what? Plus 9, right? So I have 9 plus 4 squared is 4 times 4. That will give us 16. Then we have minus 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. Then plus 16. That gives us 16. Or if you add up all of this, the result is still 16. So radius is equal to square root of what? 16. So root of 16 is equals to 4. Someone likely say plus or minus 4. Plus or minus 4. Okay, from the comment section, whenever you find the root of a number, the result is plus or minus 4. But generally, we use positive to represent radius. All right, because you are right by saying plus or minus, because if my center is here, I can take my radius this way, negative, plus, right, negative and positive. Is that clear? But we can also say that the value of our radius is just 4. Or we say radius is equals to what? 4 units. All right, a single unit. Okay, so we are dealing with a circle here. We are talking about unity. So we use radius as 4 units. All right, so let's move on. Now the next one is to find the center of this circle. Don't forget that we say that center of the circle, which is h comma k, is represented as minus g comma minus what? F. Minus g comma minus f. Minus g comma minus f. So that implies that my h comma k, sorry, rather, our center, which is our h comma k, is equals to minus g comma minus f. What do we say is our g again? Our g is minus 3, right? So that will be what? Minus 3, comma, our f is 4. So minus what? Minus 4. I'll repeat again. Our center is minus g comma minus f. But g from here says what? G is minus 3. So here becomes minus, g is what? Minus 3. So from here, minus times minus will give us plus. So that will give us our center to be 3, comma, minus 4. Are you seeing that with the formula we would also got the same answer with the first method we use in solving? We got the same answer, okay? But please, for those of you who are in Imo State University, use the principle of completing the square method. All right. I hope you guys are still following. I hope you are following. I hope you are learning. I hope you are learning. Please, if you are following, indicate that you're following. Okay, I'm going to drop an assignment for you guys. Then I will in my next class or in the comment section, you can drop the solution, the answers rather, the answers. Make sure you drop the answer in the comment section. Drop the answer in the comment section. The question says show that 4x squared plus 4y squared minus 4x minus 12y plus 1 equals to 0. Represent a circle. Represents a circle. And find its center and radius. And find its center and radius. Show that 4x squared plus 4y squared minus 4x minus 12y plus 1 equals 0 is a circle. Okay? And find its center and radius. All I need in the comment section, your answer should be just get for me the center and the radius. Of course, this is a circle, but you have to show. Show means convert this to standard form. When you convert to standard form, and at the end of the day, you're able to achieve that. You will not take your value of your radius. If your radius is greater than what? 0, it means it is also what? A circle. Do you get the concept? But most of the times, the coefficient of x squared and y squared might be the same. But at the end of the day, while solving, your value of your half might be less than 0. Of course, I will look for such equation. If it's less than 0, it is not a circle. But if it's greater than 0, it is a circle. Either. So what you need to do first is you have to divide 2 before you start solving, before you start completing the square method. You need to divide 2 by what first? By this coefficient of x squared and what? Y squared. Make sure that the coefficient of x squared and y squared is equals to 1. Then I will divide 2 by 4. When you divide 2 by 4, 4 will cancel itself. 4 will cancel itself. 4 will cancel itself. Here will remain what? Minus x. Then minus 12y divided by 4. That will give us what? Minus 3y. Then this will give us what? Plus 1 over 4. What I mean here is that when you divide 2 by 4 first, we're going to have here as x squared, right? Because 4 will cancel itself. Plus what? Y squared minus what? X. Minus what? 3y. Then plus 1 over 4 equals to what? 0. So what we do next is to move this right to the other side. We have x squared plus what? Y squared minus x minus 3y equals to what? Minus 1 over 4. I'm already solving this for you. So what's the next thing you do is to bring the x together and the y together. That will give us what here? X squared minus x, right? Plus y squared minus 3y equals to minus 1 over 4, right? Then I will complete the square by converting this to trinomial, right? So I will stop here for you. This is your assignment. This is your assignment. So when you solve, please indicate the answer in the comment section. In the comment what? Section. Indicate the answer in the comment section. So we're going to meet possibly tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll look at ellipse tomorrow. Before we start, I will give 1 or 2 example on that circle. Then we'll move into ellipse. But if there's no need, I will just go straight into ellipse. So we say conic section. Conic section is grouped into four. We have circle, which we have discussed tonight. We have circle, we have ellipse, we have parabola, parabola, and we have hyperbola, hyperbola. So we have seen circle, we have seen ellipse, we have seen circle today. Tomorrow, we're likely going to ellipse. Then next tomorrow, which is I guess on Thursday, on Friday rather, we move into parabola. Before we know it, on Saturday or Sunday, we have we'll be talking about hyperbola. Then we are done with conic section. Then we'll move into another course, possibly physics. Then we'll talk about electrostatics in physics, where we talk about action of force and direction of force and all that, electric field intensity, potential, work done in an electric field, and all of that. These are major topics that we shall be looking at in your physics and mathematics. Then chemistry is purely organic. It's purely organic chemistry. Organic chemistry, all the homologous series, alkyne, alkanol, aldehyde, um, carboxylic acid, alkanols, the amide, the amides, the esters, so many homologous series we shall be discussing about in your chemistry. And I'll be teaching all of these because we are starting on time. So I want every one of you to please make sure that whenever you hear that we are having online class, be here because I might be putting this video on private. So if you don't join the class, you might not be able to access the class again, except I decide to just make it public. These are just private. I might put this on private. So please make sure you are active. You are actively involved. Then if you have any question, you can always reach out to me in our WhatsApp group. I'll be dropping the WhatsApp link, okay, in the comment section. WhatsApp link in the comment section. If you want to join us, you can always join the WhatsApp group for further inquiry. If you have any question you want to ask, you can drop them in the WhatsApp group. But please make sure you solve the assignment and send your answer in the comment section. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys tonight. Thank you for your time. See you guys tomorrow. All right, guys.